Who here has never watched a movie before? Please raise your hand. Now, I want everyone here to look around. If you see anyone raising their hands, I want you to watch them carefully because that person is probably lying, or they grew up in a cave, or their parents blocked their access to Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, TikTok, YouTube, and at that point, that's just straight up violence. Now, out of every 10 people you see, 7 of them consider themselves as movie lovers. But if you listen closer, you might just be able to hear their thoughts. For example, who here would love to be instantly as rich as Tony Stark from the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Or maybe to be as charming as Brad Pitt from Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Now trust me, if Brad Pitt walks into this room right now, I would forget most of my script. Now, I know how it feels like to idolize these movie characters. Not the actors or the actresses, but the movie characters themselves. We tend to feel this way because these characters are made to portray a life we secretly want to live, to have the courage we want to have, the freedom we want to feel. Watching movies started off as just a hobby for me, a way for me to entertain myself, to kill time. But throughout the years, as I grew up, I've started to realize that movies hold a much deeper meaning for me. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bethania Reika Kawanda. I'm currently in 12th grade. I'm 17 years old with a total of more than 200 movies watched. So I guess you could consider me a movie geek. And today, I'm inviting everyone here to step into a cinematic lens and perceive how cinema could change one's life. First of all, let's talk science. Believe it or not, it is scientifically proven that watching movies does have benefits. It could enhance your learning, improve your social skills, improve your communication skills, even broaden your cultural awareness. So, in other words, binge watching is self-improvement, friends. And the next time someone comes up to you and asks you, why are you watching another movie? You could just simply answer them with, I'm investing in my intellectual and emotional growth. Boom. That's straight up science. And yes, I know, most movies are fictional. But isn't that what's so magical about it? Isn't that the whole point of it? That in this world, this life that's so full of chaos, full of unpredictable life, humans still find ways to create. We create hopes, we create dreams, we create expectations, and in this case, even entire universes, entire identities. Because wouldn't you just want to be as fantastic as Mr. Fox, or maybe as rich as Richie Rich? Now, movies aren't just a part of life, it is woven into it. It let us feel things we don't usually let ourselves feel. For example, overjoy, anger, fear, grief, or even that one weird feeling we get when our favorite character, fictional character mind you, in a movie died and all of a sudden, we're the one who needs a moment. Through every scenes and soundtracks, movies opens us to infinite possibilities. They open us and stretches our imagination. They show us new versions of ourselves. But most of all, they remind us that life is so much more than the tiny routine we live in. Movie shows us that life can be vibrant. It can be messy, unpredictable, emotional, all at the same time. Or in other words, movies help us practice being human. And that realization was my turning point. Because the more movie I watched, the more I realized that life doesn't start inside your comfort zone. It starts the moment you dare to step out of it. Watching movies has made me brave enough to imagine a different life, a different story, one where I can try, I can fail, I can grow, explore, and truly start living. Because life isn't something you should be scared of. Life is something you have to embrace. And maybe that's the biggest cinema lesson that could be given to someone, is that life can't start if you keep on hitting pause. You have to click play and step into the scene yourselves. And that hit me. Now, I want everyone here to imagine what their lives has been for the past years. Allow me to start. For the past 12 years of my life, I've been living the same exact routine. So trust me when I tell you, I know how it feels like to think that your life is just so boring, it's just so dull. And there comes times where you ask yourselves, is this it? Is this all I'm meant to be doing? Movies, it has taught me that your life can't start if you keep on being the side characters of your own stories. You have to be brave enough to step up and become the main character. There are hundreds, over a million of movies in existence today. And among all of those movies, one is made exactly, specifically just for you. It's going to be the movie that talks directly to your soul. It's going to be the movie that changes how you perceive life and who you are as a person. And you might question, how could movies ever do that? The question is as simple as words. Words. Every day, we listen, we hear, we talk, we speak, we write, all of those using words. What's human without words? And that little simple thing is the one that could change who you are as a person, specifically through movies. For example, each year we grow up, and we often blame growing up as the reason we lose track of our childhood. But growing up was never the problem. Forgetting is. Quoted from The Little Prince, page 48. Or when we fall in love and we often contemplate to ourselves of what should we do upon these feelings. And you remember that one quote that goes, is it better to speak or to die? Quoted from Call Me By Your Name, 44 minutes, 13 seconds into the movie. Or us, as humans, being present here, today, with the pain of our past and the uncertainty of the future, but regardless, every day we still try to show up, to be present. So remember, friends, carpe diem. Seize the day, make your lives extraordinary. 14 minutes, 34 seconds into the movie of that poet society. Now, these are all different genres, different truths, they have different lores, but every story will shape you somehow. Lastly, I want to remind everyone here that movies aren't just inspired by life. It is life, real life, retold with imagination and creativity. Now, there are two ways you could live your life. First of all is by surviving. Surviving is doing the bare minimum. Eat, sleep, play, repeat. That's it. I'm done with surviving. Now, moving on, the second choice is by creating. Creating is very much different from surviving. Creating is building meaning, it's choosing a direction, it's telling yourself, I want my life to look like this, and you actually take the first step. In other words, this means that all of us human beings, we can be the creators. We can be the directors, the scriptwriters, the actors, actresses of our own stories, our own movies, our own lives. Because creating doesn't have to be perfect. It just means being intentional. It means choosing a life you want to live instead of the life you happen to fall into. And maybe life is exactly that. It encourages you to build something, to build a story worth telling, a life worth remembering, but most of all, a life worth living. Because life isn't about surviving or existing. Life is about creating. And that is all for me today. Thank you.